Hey Flow City, this is Garrett, and episode 20, we touched on AI merging with blockchain and how that affects human relationships. And ultimately, I left you with a little question about what's the first NFT you're going to mint and how can you do this in 10 minutes using AI? I invited you to come to the flowcity.art website and check it out, and I hope you do. I hope you see what we're up to. I hope that it benefits society in understanding what our societal purpose is and our personal purpose here as we live in the universe. I actually originally learned the difference between an ERC20 token, an ERC721, and an ERC1155, I think exactly a year ago. So you can come so far in understanding this stuff too. However, you do not have to understand the difference to participate in Web3, next wave of the internet. Web3 is a convergence of blockchain and the metaverse, the spatial web. We're not really sure what it is, but I think I previously mentioned in an episode that Space Jam, if you go to Space Jam's website, I got to pull up the link here. It's got to be Space Jam original website. I just Googled it. Let's see what Google gives us here. Space Jam original website, spacejam.com/1996. So if you look at this website, this was Web 1.0. If you look at it, it looks terrible. You can actually recreate this website in 10 minutes by yourself really easily. Literally, like using Open Codex, you could just say, hey, can you create a Space Jam looking website for me? So I love this website. Please go check it out, spacejam.com/1996. If you can take Space Jam original website as 1.0, Web 1.0, we are moving on to Web 3.0. So what's Web 2.0? Web 2.0 is what you're currently experiencing. Could be the Zoom calls that you're having. It could be the websites that you visit, like Google, like Amazon, lots of e-commerce sites, Instagram. These are all ideas of where we're at with Web 2.0. If you were around in 1996, there was a lot of people that thought that there's no way that we're going to be selling stuff on the internet. I don't know if that idea was commonplace. However, we know that a lot of people had doubts if we were going to be able to do this stuff on the internet and that the internet would even become something. There was the .com era and crash of 2000 where there was this hypermania of you didn't have to have any value whatsoever in a company. All you had to have was a .com, and that you know, the number of visitors to your site was more important than profit. That is completely insane, and we all realized that in retrospect. And then Facebook came along, so like 2003, 2007, we started merging into what we now know of as Web 2. Now it's been a while. Web 3, the idea of Web 3 kind of was floating around about a decade ago. Bitcoin said, we're going to be the money of the internet. Why doesn't the internet have money? PayPal pretty much is the money of the internet today with Web 2. And Bitcoin solved the problem of not having to have a bank in between. So bank is like a physical thing. Now banks are a lot, like almost all entirely on Web 2. Web 3 is taking that banking system and moving it into an anonymous, decentralized form. That old banking system, it was around for a very long time. And then now the new digital banking system hasn't been around for as long. However, we're pretty much a digital society now. Money is run digitally in pretty much every society. And what Web3 is doing is it's bringing us to this new form of money. So the insanity of this new internet money, you have this hype, you have a lot of news channels talking about it. Just dive into the rabbit hole. You can start to understand it. I'm going to help you in this rabbit hole a little bit. If I can explain it like you're a 7-year-old, then when my kids are 7 and they listen to this, they'll be able to understand it as well, which is the goal. If I'm talking too high level, too complex, I hope you'll send me some feedback. Like, you are talking way too high level, I know nothing about this. That's fine. Enjoy the journey. Give me the feedback. I thrive off of feedback and learning and mistakes. So essentially what I want to stick to is this idea that these banks, that we're moving past this. We're moving into this new age where you don't have to post your stuff on Amazon, though having a central entity like Amazon and Google is extremely beneficial. Having a central entity like Facebook is extremely beneficial. However, with Web3, it's for the first time has allowed us to do on a global scale, peer-to-peer, no Amazon, no Google, no Facebook required. You can set up your own community. You can create your own cryptocurrency. Rally.io is an example. It's a creator coin if you want your own currency. You can go in minutes. Hathor is another example. In minutes, you can create your own coin. You can now send that coin backed by whatever value you put into it. So if you take $10 and you create 10 coins and you put those $10 into those 10 coins, each coin is worth $1. Now, if you take that principle, you start to understand what blockchain is about. We're injecting finance in a new way that hasn't been previously possible. You can now send those coins to your friends. You can create a super coin, and that is what an ERC20 token is. It's a currency that you can program with code. So remember, blockchain is all about code, and you can program it. You can use what other people have programmed because everything is public. Imagine you had the power of Google, but you had stuff that they created open source. Everybody could see it. You can actually take what previous blockchain companies have done. You can take that code, and it's not stealing. It's collaborating, like it's stacking. You can stack on top of what other people have created. You can make some alterations. You can say, I didn't like what they did there. I'm going to change this instead. So Rally.io, for example, hey, come and create your own currency. If you've got fans, you can give your currency out to your fans. Now that's unique. That's new. That's different. It's pretty cool. So that's like an ERC20. ERC20 is just what Ethereum uses. So anytime you see Ethereum, when I say Ethereum, I'm saying the future of the internet. So the future of the internet is all of these coins, all these cryptocurrencies that anybody can create. Anybody can inject value into it. The $10 example, if you put $10,000 into it and you make 100 coins, you just do the math. Each coin is worth $100. And this is the principle that you can essentially create your own stuff. You can do it on any platform. When you see a coin that says ERC20 token, that just means it's on Ethereum's blockchain. And there's just one address for this. So take your house. You've got a home and somebody sends you a piece of mail. They can either use UPS, they can use USPS, DHL, FedEx, they can use any number of people. So everything though goes to your home, despite the mail courier that they used. You can choose. And so all of these tokens can arrive at your address as long as it has the right address. That address is called your wallet. Just like you can own multiple houses, you can create multiple addresses. You can send mail, transactions, money to these different addresses. That's what an ERC20 is. It's sending money or currency from your address to other addresses. That's it. That's an ERC20. So it's a fungible token. Imagine a pile of gold coins and they're melting them, but some of the gold evaporates because the fire's so hot. We're burning Ethereum. Okay. Some of the gold isn't going to make it to the end. And what that does to the rest of the gold is it makes it more valuable. Now, what's happening with the US dollar is backed by nothing but the people's trust in the dollar and people using it. So the more people use it, the more effective it is, and the longer we'll stay on that system. That system has nowhere to go but towards this infinite road towards printing more of it. And the more we print of it, the more expensive things get because it's backed by nothing. So different markets are created through that process, but that's money. That's money in a nutshell. When I'm talking about ERC20 tokens on Ethereum, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about currency flowing in and out. Now, Ethereum is a network. It's an ecosystem like the internet that you yourself can build on top of. You can build your own ERC20 token. You can write your own contracts. You can build your own company on Ethereum. Everything is moving towards Bitcoin and Ethereum because these are sound forms of money. What I mean by that is they are not being printed into infinity. Bitcoin has a capped supply, and every time somebody loses their Bitcoin wallet and can't access their funds, Bitcoin becomes more valuable. If you have 21 million Bitcoin and 1 million disappear, Bitcoin becomes more valuable because you can never have more than 21 million Bitcoin. If you have 118 million Ethereum and you're burning 1 million Ethereum every year, then Ethereum becomes more and more valuable because there's a capped supply that's actually diminishing. If you have 3 trillion US dollars and next year we have 6 trillion US dollars, that means the price of a piece of a loaf of bread has to move from $3 to $6 to make up for the difference. However, if you have Ethereum and you want a piece of bread, Ethereum is getting more valuable over time. We're not talking days or weeks. We're talking months to years, like big time frames. It's becoming more valuable. As this avalanche of money is moving towards the space, and you can create your own token, you have to inject value. You're injecting USDs. Everyone's going to be doing this. I think it's the age of abundance. I don't want to leave any groups out. I want to make sure we bring in countries, we bring in people who have previously been left out of society. I want to bring in a lot of people to this space for the benefit of humanity. Like, the current system that we're on is ridiculous. It doesn't make sense. It leaves people out. There's laws that prevent people from doing amazing things. Like, it doesn't make sense. And Web3 changes that. It allows anybody to create their own paradigm as long as you have a smartphone. And I know homeless people who have smartphones. It's totally possible. Now, I'm going to dive into an ERC 721. It is called an NFT. What is it? A non-fungible token. You can't transfer an NFT directly for another NFT because they're different. Maybe you have one. Let's say if you have one, it's the only one that ever exists, and it's in your house. It's a piece of art. On your wall, you have the Mona Lisa. Or take your favorite musician. Maybe they created a song and they only released 10 copies of the song, and you own one of the copies. That copy, if they have 100,000 fans, is a very valuable copy because other people want it. So what do you begin to do? Well, you can rent it out. You can, just like people divide up land, people divide up houses into spaces. You can actually fractionalize that art. You can break up the art and you can rent it back out because people want it and you own it. Where NFTs are going is the magical place. That is, we are creating that you can visit and you can hang out with your friends and family in these places, and only you can own that space. You can own a world where you own a piece of land in this place. You can own, and you can essentially take some of that value and you can bring it back into the real world. So NFTs and the real world are starting to merge. They're starting to mix. So you can take the value from the digital world, your digital real estate, and you can bring it back to real estate. And you can buy real estate with digital real estate. How crazy is that? So ERC 721, it's not just a JPEG. It's not just an image. It's like a world, a piece of land in the metaverse. It's this ecosystem, this world that we live in and we get work done in. We collaborate with AI and others in. It's like a place we get to visit, a place we get to live. And the more time we spend in this metaverse, counterintuitively, we will actually be able to spend more time in nature because of it. So if you take an NFT and you get to put on your headset and now you get to teleport and be with your family, you have avoided what cost? The cost of travel, the cost of time, energy, all these things. You can actually get 80%, I argue, 80% of the experience of a real life experience in this spatial environment. So these NFTs, these ERC 721s, that's these smart contracts. You can code them. You can create experiences in them. You can code this. If you arrive at 7 p.m., you will be greeted by an AI DJ. The AI DJ will be playing this song every day at 7 p.m. If you arrive and you stay for 10 minutes, we will give you $1. You can write that into your NFT. And so every day you show up at 7 p.m. and you get $1 into your wallet, and it knows it's you. You're in this spatial environment. You show up. It doesn't have to be in VR. It can still be on a computer screen, but you show up, and maybe you show up to a physical, actual conference or a festival. And they say, if you show up to this festival, you will receive an NFT, or we're just going to give you money because you're a part of our community. The next thing I want to talk about is an ERC 1155 and why you would want one. This is just an ERC 721, so an NFT that you can just create all at the same time. What the ERC 1155 allows you to do is if you have 10,000 entries, instead of one by one creating like a new house, like a new NFT, a new 3D world, one by one, you can do it all at the same time. Let's use cars as an example instead of houses, because houses are our address on Ethereum. The car then is going to be the thing. I'm Tesla. I'm not going to create one car. I want to create 10,000 cars at the same time and just do it in one batch. So that's what Tesla does. And ERC 1155 is essentially just a batch collection of a lot of things. The crazy part is that each of these things can be unique. So we do that with AI. We can create generative art. I talked about how the new artists are software developers. So as a software developer, you can create art, you can create finance, you're a lawyer. It's a little scary for people who have these jobs, a truck driver, a banker, a bank teller, an investor, stockbroker. All of these jobs can be automated. That's where the ERC 20, ERC 721, ERC 1155. Don't worry about the names. Just understand that all this stuff you can keep at your home address on Web3, and your home address is like your physical address in the real world. But it's like a digital address, like a digital home, essentially. And you can invite your friends over. You guys can hang out in your home's an NFT. I won't get into minting your actual house as an NFT, but that is the future. So just wait. Exciting things. If you can program, you can code, you can create the future. If you can speak English to Open Codex and GPT-3, you can write your own smart contract. You can take what other people created. You can start to create amazing things. This has been a much longer episode than I anticipated. However, this stuff is pretty deep, sometimes dry, and I hope you learned a thing or two. So thank you for being here. I'm grateful for you, and I hope that you don't forget to flow.